Hello everyone, thanks for watching this Drops Asia recording. I'm with Mike Rice from Dropsafe, who are sponsoring the upcoming webinar and panel discussion on the 11th of August. So one of the objectives for the Drops Asia chapter is to stimulate the development and accelerate the adoption of products and technology which can eliminate the harm of dropped objects. We note that this video is recorded as part of the webinar sponsorship and does not constitute an endorsement of Dropsafe or its products. So Dropsafe have recently launched a new product to prevent dropped objects around the helideck. And while this is related to the subject of drops inspections, especially as we're discussing helideck safety, we did not want to spend too much time on specific products during the live meeting itself. Instead, we decided to record this presentation, which you may watch at your own convenience. So welcome, Mike. Could you please share with us what you've got?
Yeah, thank you, Joachim, for allowing us this brief presentation to the Drops community within Asia. So I'm just going to share my screen and just bring up a presentation on the new product. But really, the presentation isn't really focused on the product per se. It's more about how we've had to change our approach to product development to take into account the sort of, let's say, the new norm that we are all facing in our industry and in particular with respects to sort of safety equipment. So, you know, we are obviously all aware now that we're in a sort of period of time where budgets are going to be much more constrained than they have been certainly within the last 5 years and probably even more constrained than they were during the last downturn. And we also understand that with, you know, COVID issues that many rigs and operators and drilling contractors are facing, you know, the safety of movement of personnel is going to be now much more focus of operations. So with this new normal, we sort of tried to look at our product development process. We realized that we still needed to be able to develop products that held the highest sort of safety standards and requirements. But how else could we look at those products to ensure that the product had the lowest cost of ownership for the end user, but also was maybe less required or less requirement around people specialists being required to install that product, which has been a sort of a typical process within the oil and gas industry. So just skip on to the next screen. So of course, as we said, especially when it comes to you know, safety products, there's certainly no way that we can cut costs on the quality of the product. So as with most other Dropsafe products, you know, we design them so they're applicable for the sort of harshest environments. We obviously design them to exceed industry standards. Everything, of course, has to be third-party tested and certified, you know, not just with Dropsafe products, but with every sort of safety product that would go onto a rig. And then, of course, you've got to look at the sort of the warranty of the product to make sure you're backing that up to give the customer the sort of reassurance in the quality of the product. And so overall, you can't really cut costs or you can't reduce costs when it comes to the quality and the integrity of the product. So where could we help customers in this current sort of tighter budget environment? So what we looked at was actually the life cycle of the product. Once you have the product, you've then clearly got to have staff to be able to install the product, put it into the facility, make sure that the product is installed correctly so that it's going to perform in the, you know, in the sort of instance where there is a drop, for example. So one of the things we looked at was then the installation of a product. How do we make the installation of the product easier for the facility and potentially require less specialists in order to install that product? the second thing was, okay, once you've designed the product to be more easily installed, how can you enable that product to be installed by the rig crew, for example? Again, minimizing the requirement for specialists to come out onto site in order to install the product. And as with, you know, a lot of Dropsafe products, we're always looking about the installation process. How can you keep that as simple and safe as possible? So again, minimizing the number of specialist tools that might be required to install that product onto the rig, again, just helps to reduce the costs of the installation, but also a lower requirement of specialists and specialist equipment in order to install that. Then through the life cycle of that product, obviously, if you can enable the rig crew to maintain the product, then that again requires less movement of people, and it makes the product more cost effective for the end user. And then finally, if the product, as in this case, a Helideck perimeter net, needs annual testing, then how again can you enable the rig crew to be able to do that testing on board? So again, there's less of a requirement for expensive third-party testing or for specialist employees or third parties to be able to come to the facility to inspect and keep the certification of that product. So the first part was obviously the quality of the product, which we realized, you know, you couldn't cut costs, you couldn't compromise on that. But the second part of the product development was then focused on the life cycle of the product, from installation to maintaining it through its life cycle, to inspecting it and keeping its certification through that life cycle. And those were significant areas that we felt through the product development that you could enable a lower cost of ownership for the end user. So the product that we applied this process to was a new Helideck perimeter safety net. You know, and some of the main features of that system, obviously, to have a product that can survive as long as possible. So this system we've developed will survive up to 30-year service life. To sort of back up its quality, you know, we're supporting this with a 10-year warranty. We launched a sort of online module that will teach the rig crew or a third party how to install this system and also how to maintain it through its life cycle and how to then inspect it and continue its certification with the sort of lowest cost always being a sort of focus of that life cycle ownership. And then, of course, other sort of basic features like a faster installation enables, you know, to minimize or minimizes the sort of Helideck downtime. And then again, when it comes to inspecting the product, we provide a sort of a testing kit that the rig crew can actually use to test the product annually on board in order to maintain the sort of certification of that product. So this is really just how Dropsafe has had to relook at our product development process, taking into consideration, as I said, the current budgetary constraints that everyone is facing, plus also the new constraints that we're all having to address when it comes to movement of people between facilities or on and off facilities. Yep, so that's just summarizing what we were presenting here today. Joachim, I know we would normally open this up to the attendees for some questions, but if you have any questions, then maybe we can you can fire those over to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so I'm not a big expert on Helideck safety. So in that sense, the audience would probably be better there. But what we'll do is we'll provide a link at the bottom so people can reach out to you and ask their own questions. And perhaps when we put it on the YouTube channel, we create kind of a Q&A underneath it. But it's an interesting concept, you know, getting the kind of inspection and the service done by the crew rather than by specialists. How is the feedback from the industry so far on this? And I guess this applies to your other netting and barrier products as well.
Yeah, I mean, the feedback has been good when it comes to products that we've had in the market. I mean, it was actually a process that we started with the barrier system. There are some features of that product that allow either the facility or the rig to keep regular inspection of that product. But then we also built in some components of that system that would allow the facility to return parts of the system that they cut out to us for sort of independent testing. But again, what we wanted to avoid with that was sort of, more time sensitive or cost sensitive third-party inspection of that system. So that sort of reassurance that we as an OEM can provide to the end user with the barrier system is something we test in-house. And of course, our testing protocol has been certified by a third party in that instance. And with the nets, obviously, with a stainless steel netting system, then we've always provided a sort of inspection guideline, how the facility can inspect those products on a regular basis in line with their drops inspection program to just have the confidence that the product is still fit for purpose.
Do your clients typically integrate these, the inspection of your products in their own regular maintenance routines? Are you aware of this?
Yes, definitely with the nets. Those systems have been well established especially in the offshore and onshore drilling contractor space for 10 or more years. And I would say most of those customers are integrating regular net inspections into their drops programs.
Okay, and I suppose you help them, provide them templates on how to do these inspections. I mean, of course, yours is a secondary securing device, and then I guess as part of the inspection, they would also inspect the fixture itself. But you would provide the templates for the netting inspections, I suppose.
Yeah, correct. I mean, every net that we supply comes with an inspection guideline already included inside the packaging. And so, and it's because it is a stainless steel system, then it's relatively easy to identify early signs of corrosion or degradation of the product that would cause someone to need to then investigate further its integrity. With the barrier system, it's a little bit more difficult. I guess people are less familiar with what degradation of a sort of polymer system would look like. But again, we give some pretty strict or pretty clear guidance on various sort of things they should be looking at when it comes to the securing devices that attach the system, but also with the panels themselves. But as I said, with that system, because it is a little bit more difficult for someone to do the visual inspection, they can obviously return components of that system to us, and we will test it for them.
How did this come to be? And starting with how I introduced in the beginning, we're trying as a chapter to stimulate kind of the development of solutions. How did this idea come about?
Actually, Joachim, it was driven by most of our product development, which is requests from our customers. I guess we are fortunate enough that we have been involved in the drops industry and helping customers prevent dropped objects for more than 10 years now. And so we've built up a bit of a reputation as a solution provider. We often develop custom solutions for customers, whether they're based on our sort of netting systems or other sort of solutions. Quite often customers will approach us with problems that they're facing. We go away and put our drop prevention hats on, and we try to come up with solutions for them. And the Helideck Perimeter Net was really off the back of a number of requests coming from customers who are using our stainless steel netting systems, just asking us if we could develop, you know, let's say a more robust system than is currently available in the market. So yeah, it was led by our customers, to be honest.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. So I would encourage all who listen to this, if there's other things, other risks you perceive and you don't have a direct solution for, there are companies like Dropsafe who are keen to kind of work with you to find a solution. And there may already be solutions out there. We have seen on a number of rigs now that it is possible to completely eliminate dropped objects, and yeah, keep researching these solutions. And yeah, if you have ideas, reach out to us and reach out to companies like Dropsafe.
Just to say, Joachim, the information about the Helideck system isn't currently on our website. So if anyone is looking for technical information, or just some general product information there, then they are more than welcome to reach out to me directly. If you don't mind, I mean, my email is mrice@dropsafe.com. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll add that into the video. I'll place a link down to your website and with your contact details in the video. And as soon as you got the details up on your website, drop me a note, and then we can just add it to the post as well. Well, thank you very much, Mike. We'll leave it at that. And yeah, again, encourage everyone to reach out to Mike if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Joachim.